I'm Michael Bain and welcome to Triggered, coming to you from the secret hidden bunker in the Rocky Mountains, Dragon House Studios on a spectacularly beautiful day up here. Brought to you this week, by the way, by Rock Island Armory and their incredible 5.0. You're going to be seeing lots more about that gun. It is groundbreaking. It is an incredible gun. But remember last week I showed you Dave Luth, D&L Sports, fixed sights for both Smith & Wesson revolvers and for Ruger revolvers. And I said I had one more item from Dave Luth I wanted to show you because it's pretty much 100% rock and roll. This is my old 629. It's a competition pistol. It was built by Randy Lee at Apex. It was machined to take moon clips from TK to shoot 44 Russian. It'll also shoot 44 Special, 44 Magnum. But it's always been a dedicated competition revolver. Well, the most important part of a revolver are the grips. And these are D&L Sports Performance Revolver grips. Let me cut to the chase on this right now. This is the single best set of grips I have ever felt on a revolver. And I have felt a lot of grips on a lot of revolvers. Let me explain to you why. A lot of the issue with revolvers, the way double action revolver grips are, and you can blame this all on Monsieur Smith & Wesson or Sam Colt, blame it on whoever you want. But when the gun comes up, you have to break your wrist slightly, dink, to be on target. You don't want to do that. When the gun comes up, you want your eye to be in line with the sight on the target. You want to be ready to rock and roll. Dave Luth has solved that formula with a vengeance. Now take a look at these grips. I want to take you through them real quick. Let's start at the top. You see this big beaver tail here? Why do we have a big beaver tail on 1911s? Pretty simple. Distribute recoil. You notice the bottom here, this curved part, it fits my hand perfect. And with a little drawing of your hand, Dave can make it fit your hand perfect. These are G10 grips. This is not a material that is easy to break, will chip, fill in the blanks. They're designed to be sturdy, and what happens is at exactly the right angle. This pushes your hand up into the beaver tail. Your trigger finger ends up in exactly the right spot for the trigger. So as it comes up, your wrists are straight, your lock wrists are straight, and it goes straight to the target. And right there is the red dot. That's the holy grail of a revolver grip. You see a similar, not quite as efficient grip on the Hogue Big Butts. People with bigger hands love these things. Mr. Michelik standard grip. All of them are trying to get this gun to go straight to target. As soon as it gets to end of extension, your wrists are locked, the dot is on the target, you pull the trigger. So I will say that these are the best revolver grips I've ever had. I'm going to do a little bit more with them. I also have a set for K and L frames, which has solved a big problem I had with the Smith & Wesson mountain gun. So when I come back, we're going to talk about another fascinating product. Welcome back to Triggered, and I want to show you part of an ongoing project. You remember a couple of years ago we built a 458 Socom pistol. I think we did 2 shows on it. 1, we showed you the bill of materials. 2, we built up the gun, we put it on a pistol receiver and shot it. Well, the more I shot that gun, the more I liked that gun. I wanted to turn it into a short barrel rifle and make it, in essence, a small, powerful hunting rifle that you could use pretty much for anything on the North American continent. And keeping in mind that Bill Wilson, my friend Billy Wilson, has used 458 Socom on Cape Buffalo. So, as part of that project, I started thinking about the lower. I was going to take it off the pistol lower and put it onto a dedicated rifle lower after my tax stamp clears. I've already filled out the NFA papers, and once again, this is not amnesty stuff. This is Michael pays the $200. I filled out the papers, I sent my fingerprints in to turn this into a short-barreled rifle. That will eventually be my sort of miniature heavy-bore hunting rifle. But then my friends at Stern Defense, we talked about Stern Defense before, if they make an insert into AR magazines, into AR magazine wells that say allow you to use a Glock magazine instead of an AR-9 straight magazine on a pistol caliber carbine, a number of different adapters, and they're really neat. They're simple, they work. I think it's a great, great product. Well, they said, we have another product, it's simple and it works, and what it allows you to do is you push the magic button turn, and you can separate the buffer and the stock from the lower receiver. And you have now a takedown rifle. You can obviously pop these two pins and take the upper off the lower, but I do not like having this open. I do not like having a trigger mechanism exposed to some sort of weird thing that falls straight into it. So this is basically a really simple, really relatively inexpensive modification. And you put it back on by here. You can actually see there's an extension on the buffer spring. And then it slips in here, lines up, push the magic button on the bottom, and you're back. You can use the rifle. I think this is ingenious. I think this is a very smart way to arrive at a takedown rifle, and it's perfect for this project. Stock, by the way, is from Ace, from Double Star. It's their M4 stock. You could actually use it to drive tent pegs. It's very sturdy. It probably weighs more than it should, but remember, this is a 12-inch 458 Socom. It has recoil. So here's another great, fascinating product that you might not have ever heard of before. And when we come back, one more. This week's Triggered is brought to you by Taurus USA. Always ready, always bring it. Stoger, everyday tough. SDS Imports, Thesis. Thesis means quality. Hunter's HD Gold. They change so you don't have to. And MTM Case Guard, quality shooting sports accessories. Welcome back to Triggered, brought to you this week by Rock Island Armory and their incredible 9mm 5.0. Remember a few weeks ago I showed you from my friend Randy Luth at Luth-AR the MCA 1022 chassis. It's an inexpensive chassis, under $200, and designed by Mark Roth from Roth Performance. Mark knows exactly what he's doing, and I told you I'd show you the gun when I dropped a gun into the chassis. Well, I dropped a gun into the chassis. This particular gun, the receiver itself is from Tactical Solutions. It's a TSX receiver, and I think one of the best 1022 style receivers available out there, originally designed by Tom Hines when he was at Tactical Solutions. The barrel on this gun is from another friend of mine, Clint Beyer. Clint specializes in very lightweight 1022 style barrels. They are also inordinately accurate. This is maybe the third Beyer barrel that I've used on a 1022, and every one of them is a tack driver. The interesting thing about Clint's barrels is they're not all that expensive either. You can get some really expensive 1022 barrels. Clint grabbed me at the SHOT Show to say he's got a new super ultralight barrel. Clint, I'm going to be reaching out to you for that for a build. Otherwise, I'm really liking this chassis. Obviously, this is an old Millet designated marksman scope 1-4, but when you've got these adjustments that are easy in the chassis, you've got it set up so as soon as your cheek hits this cheek rest, you're right there on the reticles. It's a really perfect setup. I'm really liking this gooseneck pistol grip. Also got this little ledge here for your thumb to go when you're shooting, so you're not necessarily wrapping your hand around and torquing the gun. Okay, that is it for this week. As always, you can find us on michaelbain.tv, and anything that we've mentioned here, you can find the links and go right there and check out the products. You can also find us on YouTube for a little while longer, and you can find us on Rumble. Until next week, see if you can dodge the falling banks and stay safe.